Welcome back to the weekly news roundup, the business and the silly edition. We actually have some good SillyVille articles this week. Unfortunately, last week, there's nothing going on silly in the world. But this week, I mean, hey, we're getting sillier than, chocolate chip chocolate ice cream, So with that, let's go ahead and just dive right on into the news. Tesla is facing a huge fine in Norway. Are my Norway followers watching today? Say hi if you are. So Tesla faces a huge fine in Norway for throttling battery charge speeds. Companies are ordered to pay $16,000 per customer. So of course, this is one of the scary things about Tesla's model, where everything is controlled and owned by them. Because one of the things you can do with charge controllers and such is, based upon battery capacities and things like that, you can tell the software to do different things. So if you have a variety, for example, a bank of lithium batteries, you can program the BMS to do different things in different ways, because really the BMS systems, battery management systems for lithium batteries, are their computers themselves that have controllable and regulatable parameters. So one of the things that Tesla does is they'll have slower charging, they'll have lower capacity charging, but if you want faster charging, if you want a higher capacity battery, you just have to fork out more money. And then, of course, if you try and hack your car into it to do anything like that, then you really can't do anything else. It's like lock you out. So Tesla's been ordered to pay 136 kroners, I guess that's $16,000 each, to thousands of customers for slowing down charging speeds. 2019 software update was found to have affected the battery life in Tesla Model S vehicles manufactured between 2013 and 2015, sparking a complaint by dozens of Tesla owners in the country. In the country's Constellation Council, according to Netvision. As a result, customers were reportedly diminished range and slower charging speeds at the company's supercharger network. Tesla did not file a response, and the case was decided in the plaintiff's favor. So basically, they just said, hey, we got a problem. Tesla's like, I don't even care. Not even worth it. So now they actually have to pay $16,000 per each customer of $16,000 to settle the complaint. They know the particular Model S has been sold around 10,000 times during the period in question, making it a potentially very expensive judgment for Tesla. So this is one of the challenges with the Tesla model. I would not recommend a Tesla vehicle because there's too much data into the company. There's no privacy to it. They can see anything and everything you're doing. There's just too many issues with it. Though, and this is one of those things that we start to see, is we're starting to see them tinkering around with your car with software updates, which is also why I don't want my car connected to the internet. I have a hint for you guys. If your car is not connected to the internet, it's not going to be hackable or breachable, and therefore it is in no need of security updates. Just a thought. Well, Iran bans cryptocurrency mining just for 4 months because of there's blackouts. This is one of the downsides. Why is Greta Thunberg not pointing at every person doing cryptocurrency stuff going, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you? Because all this cryptocurrency is utilizing a lot of electricity. And this is, I mean, you want to talk about what's destroying the climate change and causing global warming and man-made climate change that's going to kill us all. And I think we're down to 9 years now, right? Anyone keeping track of this? So with all this, I mean, the cryptocurrency mining, well, this becomes big problems if you have places where the power grid is particularly unstable, like, California, Iran, apparently. And they're really concerned during the summer months when people, the electricity grids are have a little bit better or a little bit more use to them. They are becoming more fragile. And so with this, there's trying to ban cryptocurrency mining for the period of the summer while it's hot, when the electrical grid is under so much stress. And so that's really what is at stake here. Of course, there's this giant battle between all the cryptocurrencies and everything else going on. So that's kind of what Iran's up to, though, Charter, behaving like a monopoly. Charter charges more money for slower internet on streets with no competition. Isn't this shocking? I mean, this is the type of stuff I have reported in the past. All right. You have the city. Okay, Comcast and Charter cover this half of the city. They both have really good rates. People in the same city, I don't have any problems with the pricing. Price is really good and accurate. Yeah, you go across the street where the other one doesn't serve. It's one and not the other. And your rates are going through the roof. And you're like, I don't even have half the speed you have, and I'm paying 3 times as much. Well, that's what seems to be going on. So $30 for 40 Mbps on one street and $50 for 20 Mbps or 200 Mbps on the other street. And that's really what they were doing. No surprise, cable companies charge lower prices where they face competition. This is why we need to break up monopolies. Are you listening, government? You need to break up the monopolies. You can't look at the whole country and go, well, our country has 2 huge internet providers. We have Comcast and we have Time Warner, right? You can't do this because they don't serve the same areas. They have overlapping area, or they don't have overlapping areas. There's no competition. There's de facto monopoly, which is why here in the 4th or so largest city in my state, I have exactly one option for internet. Why my internet fees went from $50 to $100 over the last 3 years, and I have zero choice but to move. That is called a monopoly. But no, since Comcast is a Pennsylvania company, do you think anybody's going to do anything about them? Nope, not at all. And that's really where our problem happens to be. This is why we need to have good municipal internet available to us and things like that. So yeah, definitely here's internet. Here's some things. You have longer price guarantee on a competitive street. So if you have competition, this is them just being a monopoly. This is kind of a problem. Well, Instacart is rolling out new 30-minute deliveries. And the workers okay, you got a delivery out. You're like, oh yeah, hey, the guy's already in the store. Bing, bing, bing. Whoa, super fast delivery. They might just abandon the old cart to get the new one out. So increasing demands on a precarious workforce, what could possibly go wrong? Now, this is, they put several restrictions on this shorter base here. The first restriction they put on it is it's got to be very small and very simple orders. The second is, what is that? So 45, 60 minutes are available. This is... 30 minutes. I can't remember what the list was. Quick errands rather than bulk groceries. It intends to basically pick up a couple small items, very easy from the store, in places closer to the stores. So the Instacart itself will flag and double check the order and see if it's even possible and kick the order out of that option, or maybe not offer it, depending on what it is. They're rolling this out in 15 cities, although they've only named 6, those being Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, San Diego, San Francisco, and Seattle. All probably good cities to not leave your house. I don't know. But anyway, this will probably do some weird things with the delivery drivers. People who do not pay extra for the 30-minute delivery might find themselves on longer deliveries. That's kind of my thought, what might end up happening. But I don't know. Well, Washington State is suing a patent troll for violating consumer protection laws. Although legal experts, though, actually, they're actually here saying this may not even fly because there's so many right to free speech laws that it's like... So what this company is doing is they started one company, they were sued out of business, then they just started another company. They literally fixed the letter A after the end of it, or number 2, I think it was A, after the name of the company. So it's the same exact company. First, I got to give kudos to this art because this artwork is awesome. EFF did an excellent job here. Figure 2B, here's your file troll patent 2019. So this company, Landmark Technology is the company. They spent 20 years threatening and suing small businesses over bogus patents, literally anybody that runs a e-commerce store. So let's see. So they in in the state of Washington, the state of Washington is claiming that the landmark technology violated the state's Patent Troll Protection Act, which bans bad faith assertions of patent infringement. Following a widespread campaign of patent demand letters, more than 30 states passed some kind of law placing limits on bad faith patents. So they still will face an uphill battle because of some federal laws. But at the same time, what this company's doing, they went from Landmark Technology, they closed that business, now they're Landmark Technology A, go figure. Recently created LLC appears to be largely identical to the now defunct Landmark Technology. New company asserts the same patents against the same type of targets. Patents inventor is Landmark Technology owner Lawrence Lockwood. He sent over 1,000 demand letters based on patent 7,010,508, which was issued in 2006 and claims rights to, quote, automated multimedia data processing network for processing business and financial transactions between entities from remote sites. So basically, he utilizes his patent to sue anybody and everybody who happens to run an e-commerce store. I would like to see him threaten to sue Amazon. That would be hilarious. Just for fun. So basically, he's filing suits against candy companies, toy makers, organic farms, a Seattle bottle maker, just to name a few. Now, there was actually a case where this was actually up for review, where the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in 2004 brought this patent up for review to say it's likely invalid because it doesn't actually explain how to do the things that it claimed it did. And that could be invalidated it, but they settled the case rather than going. So this guy's like, well, I'll pay a little bit to prevent this from being looked at. So anybody who this guy is coming after, reopen that case and see what happens. I bet that you might get out of that. But anyway, more attacks on the patent trolls. I don't know. We'll see if there's any good long-term consequences of this down the road, but I seriously doubt it. Well, if self-driving cars aren't enough for you, Merlin Lab wants to fill the skies with pilotless planes carrying cargo and passengers. That's all we need. A blue screen of death at 50,000 feet. So there you are. All of a sudden, planes will start falling from the skies when hackers get a hold of these things. This will be fun. Yay! All of a sudden, planes are just going to start falling down into cities all over the place. It'll be kind of frightening. But one of us who grew up in Windows 95 era, we're still not ready for anything that self-drives. In this case, self-flying planes. No, good thing I'm not a big fan of flying anyway. It's just become too Gestapo and too dystopian to fly anymore for my taste. Well, let's go ahead without any further ado and talk about what happened here with Ubuntu and BitTorrent and a DMCA warning. So first, but let's go ahead and get this one out of the way first. Ubuntu had nothing to do with this. All right. So what happens? What happened here is, of course, there's the RIAA and, MPAA. All these guys are all trying to fight torrenting and stuff like that. And basically, they want to declare that anybody using torrent sites is effectively a criminal, as it is, so let's just go and lock up the criminals or whatever else. That's kind of what they're trying to assert here. And so in doing this and trying to assert all of this, they are hiring third-party firms. It's kind of like the people who do bogus copyright claims on YouTube videos, right? Bogus copyright claims, they're just like, hey, let's just go ahead and throw stuff out, whatever, wherever you want to be. And so this company, they are responsible for going through, and what they'll do is they'll connect onto torrent sites where you can see what other IP addresses are there, and then they'll basically grab a hold of all the IP addresses that are on torrent sites, and then they're going to go ahead and try and figure out who these people are, and then send them rude letters and stuff, with pictures of angry people on them or whatever else they're doing. And many times the copyright holders will hire these companies so they don't have to do it themselves. It's basically like contracting out your dirty work. Frankly, I think this should be illegal. If you think someone's stealing your stuff, then you hire employees yourself and go do it. So stop hiring some third party with shady and weird trends to go ahead and do that. So what happened is one of these companies ended up doing this, and the name of the company would be in here somewhere. So what happened is this company, which is hired on behalf of some of the companies that are looking for illegal downloaders, got itself, what appears happened is that company's emails to ISPs are now being spoofed. And so somebody is getting into these torrent IP addresses, getting the IP addresses, doing all the legwork, and then sending the DMCA takedowns or the DMCA notices to the ISP, in this case Comcast. And Comcast, they're not really going to get involved. They're not going to look into it. They're just going to assume that the guy said what was right, and they're just going to go ahead and bash on the customer because it's Comcast. It can do that. And they have a monopoly, so you don't have any recourse to switch to a better ISP if you're on Comcast. So what they're doing here, though, is in this case, somebody ended up logging on and grabbing IP addresses of a torrent server, grabbing Ubuntu, which is perfectly legal. Okay. It is distributed by Ubuntu on torrents for you to torrent and download. And the reason you should be torrenting your Linux distributions is it takes load off of their servers and keeps the costs down for your Linux distributions. So if you can torrent your Linux distributions, be it Ubuntu or otherwise, go ahead and please torrent those because it does take the load off of those servers in many cases. So with that, somebody went ahead and did this, and they spoofed the third party that is responsible for lying, they spoofed the third party responsible for telling the ISPs that somebody on their network is violating copyright by torrenting quote unquote illegal stuff. So with that being said, this guy got a takedown issue for torrenting Ubuntu, but it does appear it was completely false. It was somebody spoofed the contact information from the third party, and the third party, which is OPSEC. So here is actually a statement from OPSEC. OPSEC Security DMCA notice sending program was spoofed on Wednesday, May 26, 2021 by unknown parties across multiple streaming platforms. Content in question all appears to be Ubuntu Linux distros. We have incontrovertible evidence that proves this DMCA notices were not perpetuated by or originated by OPSEC Security. OPSEC's enforcement efforts are occasionally spoofed by a third party in an attempt to damage OPSEC's reputation. Too late, your reputation's already gone. What reputation? You're telling on people for using torrent without any real evidence. The attempts are easily identifiable and easily disproven. We are notifying the appropriate authorities about the incident. So at least they are doing the right thing. They are talking about it being spoofed. And apparently, though, if you are downloading Ubuntu, then you very well could receive one of these from your ISP and let them, send them a copy of this article saying, yeah, this is a spoofer. So anyway, it had nothing to do with Ubuntu. Ubuntu's not going mad or evil or crazy. It didn't have anything to do with Comcast, other than the fact that Comcast should really be looking into these a little bit more. And it had nothing to do with OPSEC, although they're just some third-party bottom feeder anyway, so whatever that would happen to be. So that's kind of what happened with DMCA for torrenting Ubuntu. So that's what the story was. Had a kind of happy ending, but at the same time, there it was. Well, if you want to help support the channel, you can use our affiliates. If you need a website, we are highlighting A2 hosting, tlm.li/A2H. And you can get anything from basic shared plans up to managed VPS plans. Just anything in between, unmanaged VPS, dedicated servers, shared drive, just all sorts of fun stuff. You have as low as $2 per month, 81% off using our code here, all the way up for your dedicated servers, $100, which is 50% off for those if you are in need of any of those. And I hosted all my websites on A2 for quite a long time. I moved them off simply because cPanel's licensing went crazy. But with that, A2 is still a great company. I still highly recommend them. And you should check them out if you are in need of a website, tlm.li/A2H. Now let's head to SillyVille. So in SillyVille, the first is there is now a robot, although it looks more like a vending machine than a robot, to be perfectly fair. But it's reported as a robot. But it is a cereal robot to make your food easier to prepare. More or less, it's more like just a cereal dispenser, kind of like your soda machines. You can go over the new fancy ones. You can kind of program into it what you want and program all the flavors and stuff and put the thing down, select the size of the cup, and it goes. Well, this guy here, it's a Kellogg's cereal machine, and you can program it to dish out whatever type of cereal that you want it to dish out. You can do all boring cornflakes. You can just do a mishmash of everything. What do they call it? The suicide, where you just mix one of everything together. And then they have some pre-made stuff where it's like, I think they have one of the pre-mades listed here. The Hawaii 5-0, it's not a TV show, I think. The Hawaii 5-0, which is frosted mini wheats, Bare Naked Fit triple berry, granola, pineapple, coconut, and mango. Mix all that kind of stuff together, and then it does it. Of course, you know the one thing this machine does not do? It does not allow you to change the ratio. So if you really like that very little milk, lots of cereal per bite, you don't have that choice. If you like the, I want a little bit of cereal float in my bowl of milk, you don't have that choice either. It does a single amount of milk, no matter what. Can't really change that one way or the other. So there you have it, though. And, of course, your little tiny single bowl of cereal is going to cost you between $3 and $6.50. They're deploying this on some college campuses to be used with your meal plan, so you can be charged an arm and a leg. Absolute insane price gouging for cereal. You can buy a box of this stuff for $2.99, by the way, just so you guys know. I mean, it might be the generic brand, but at least it's a little bit. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. They were calling it food DRM as well, but anyway. Well, this guy here, he made a Doom Captcha instead. This is epic. And let's see. This was a little bit too loud. Let me turn the volume on, but I'm going to turn the volume down. There you go. So there you have it, guys. So you can go ahead and do your Captcha like that. If that were on Captcha sites, guys, I would go around looking for Captcha sites to do. That is absolutely epic. There you go, guys. Doom Captcha. Absolutely cool. All right, well, this guy, we talked about a couple weeks back, we talked about the mob boss that was nabbed for a YouTube channel where he was doing his Italian cooking YouTube channel, and they nabbed him because of his tattoos. Very distinctive stuff. You got to watch out with what you're putting out there on the interwebs, because this UK drug trafficker, he was nabbed by police because of his love for cheese. How, you say? Well, he posted his favorite cheese online on an anonymous forum, but this photo that he posted from his phone gave high enough resolution that the police were able to access the photo, pull off his fingerprints, figure out what his name was, and figure out where he was. So he is a suspected dealer using EncroChat, which... everything I find about it says it's basically used by the dirty criminal underground to do encrypted messages. It's like the evil twin brother of Signal, I guess. But police have actually had access to this. They broke into it months ago, over a year ago. They basically have access to all the information. Now the question is just identifying who is who. Well, this guy posted a picture of his favorite cheese with enough detail to fingerprint him based on the information in the photo. And so then they were able to nab him based upon that. So there you go, guys. Be very careful with what you're putting out there on the internet, because this picture of cheese was able to show his fingerprints, and that's how they nabbed him. There you go, guys. And now on to the armed and dangerous 8-year-olds. I asked Vince what's up with this. But now in Australia, you will now have to register your Nerf guns as firearms. Every 8-year-old I know is now a battle-hardened, gun-toting criminal. I mean, really. So, register this toy as a firearm. Banned from South Australia. This one here, you know, I mean, it looks like a toy gun, but it doesn't have the red tip on it. So popular children's toy has been exposed as a hidden firearm after some models are now registered as weapons in one Australian state. Nerf guns will now be registered as firearms in South Australia after enthusiasts discovered that certain designs of the child-friendly toy are certain designs of the child-friendly toy operate identically to prohibited gel blasters. Gel blasters, toy guns that generally shoot a super absorbent polymer as bullets, are considered a regulated imitation firearm under South Australian Firearms Act. So, there you go, guys. Oh, dangerous stuff. Since October last year, any gel blasters must be registered and the operator must hold a firearms license, but some Nerf gun models have found a loophole in the legislation. Gel blaster owned Brett Herbert says the Nerf guns fire in the exact same way as the gel shooter. You can put gels in these things without any modifications and use them as a gel blaster, he said. So another gel blaster owner, Brad Phillips, revealed he registered his $35 Nerf Mega Big Shock model to his local police station as a firearm. Yeah, guys. Yeah. That's insane. So there you have it, guys. If you are in Australia, make sure you are registering your Nerf guns because that's now firearms. Well, if you want to help support this channel, we do have a Subscribestar page, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. This is in addition to Patreon at TOMM and thinklifemedia.com. You can help support us on over there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.